Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for joining us today for this very important presentation on establishing a business entity in China for domestic invoicing. My name is Christina Kohler-Coluccia, and today we will explore the intricacies involved in setting up a company in China and the critical role that invoicing plays in your success. So before we start with today's presentation, I just want to introduce who we are and what we do. Woodburn Accountants and Advisors is one of China and Hong Kong's most trusted business setup and corporate administration advisory firms. We specialize in inbound investment into China and Hong Kong. This means that 100% of our clients are foreign investors that are looking to set up new entities or subsidiaries within the China and Hong Kong region. Our service listing is all about eliminating the complexities of administration surrounding these subsidiaries and these entities in both these jurisdictions. Our services range from pre-investment advisory, finding out what is the best structure for you specifically based on your goals and objectives, and then implementing that structure through an entity establishment in either Hong Kong or China, followed by then all of the ongoing administrative and compliance aspects that one has to think about to maintain that entity in good standing. Every client has different objectives, goals, and needs, so we always try to tailor make our services to fit them. If you're interested in learning more about us, head on over to woodburnglobal.com. A little bit about myself. As I mentioned, my name is Christina Kohler-Colucci. I'm the head of business advisory at Woodburn Accountants and Advisors. I have been doing inbound investment into China, specifically China, but all Hong Kong as well, for the last 22 years. I've worked with over 850 companies across a variety of different industries and sectors on, again, their pre-investment advisory. What are the best structures for them, giving them alternative solutions to what they've been advised on to think about in terms of tax optimization, etc., implementing those structures, and then ultimately focusing on growth through the ongoing administration that is required to maintain those structures. If you're interested in connecting with me on WeChat, I've got my barcode right there. Don't hesitate to contact me. Alternatively, email me at christina@woodburnglobal.com, or again, check out our website at woodburnglobal.com. All right, so let's dive into today's presentation. As we embrace globalization, as we embrace also all the geopolitical tensions that exist, we are noticing that there are still a lot of businesses that are eyeing China as a significant opportunity for growth due to its expanding economy and its vast consumer market. However, entering this market is not without its challenges, and among these is the requirement of having a robust domestic invoicing strategy. The goal of today's presentation is to inform you of the critical nature of domestic invoicing in China, the specific challenges that foreign companies face, and how you can effectively navigate this landscape for successful market entry. In China, the invoicing process centers around what is known as a fapiao. And this is not just a receipt, but it is an official document that validates transactions within the country, meaning from one Chinese company to another Chinese company, regardless of ownership of that entity. It is between two Chinese registered entities. The fapiao is essential for tax reporting purposes. They are issued only by tax authorities, and it is required for clients to reclaim VAT on any purchases that they have made domestically as well. Additionally, a legitimate fapiao acts as proof of transaction and has legal importance in enforcing contracts and collecting payments. And without it, companies may find themselves in very difficult situations where they cannot claim revenue or enforce legal obligations. When you are thinking about accounting through a Chinese entity, you're thinking of a fapiao accounting system where you book things based on fapiaos received from suppliers and fapiaos issued to customers. Now, the whole point of this conversation today is really around the fact that companies are not realizing that they can't issue fapiaos without having a Chinese entity established. An intermediary solution would be to find an intermediary company registered in China that would do this invoicing on your behalf. For example, utilizing import-export agents, going through distributors, sales agents, TPs that would do all of this work on your behalf. But at some point, you will think that you want to be able to invoice in your own company name, again, to increase image and status. And you may also, or your customers may even push you that they want you to do that versus using these intermediaries. And also it's a matter of control, right? You want to be able to control when those invoices are going out. You want to be able to calculate your margins accordingly, etc. So it's also then having a sound accounting system in place that you are in control of. To effectively engage in invoicing in China, it's really important to understand and grasp the legal framework governing fapiaos. The Chinese Tax Authority, which is the State Administration of Taxation, regulates the issuance of fapiao, which can be categorized into two different types. And I am simplifying this, okay? I can go into a single webinar session just on the different types of fapiaos that exist, but I am going to simplify it for today's purposes. Special fapiao for VAT and general fapiao for other types of transactions. Each type has its specific use, cases, and implications, and failure to comply with the local invoicing regulations can result in penalties, legal sanctions, and ultimately damage to your business reputation. So it's really important to stay informed about local national regulations to mitigate these risks. So as I mentioned, there are two types of fapiaos. There are other ones, but for today's purposes, we're going to simplify everything. So there are two primary types of fapiaos: the special fapiao, which is used primarily for value-added tax transactions, i.e. you're able to reclaim the VAT from purchases. And then you have the general fapiao, which serves as a regular receipt without any tax implications, meaning you cannot reclaim the VAT on purchases. Special fapiaos are essential for businesses, like I said, wishing to reclaim VAT. General fapiaos is if it is not necessary to do any type of tax recovery. And understanding the nature of these two invoices and when to use them is critical for compliance within the Chinese law and for leveraging then the tax benefits associated with them. I want everybody to keep in mind that for the majority of general VAT taxpayers who are transacting, trading within China, buying and selling in volume, they will have the general VAT taxpayer status, and they will then be invoicing with special fapiaos for VAT. If you are a small consulting business, and you are maybe issuing 12 fapiaos per year and you've got minimal purchases, it might be from a tax optimization perspective that all you need to do is issue general fapiaos. And if you do have a customer who is requiring a special VAT fapiao, to then apply for that at the tax bureau. The essence of this all in terms of understanding the fapiao types is that we also want to optimize your tax situation in China. Now, the special fapiao is particularly significant for businesses looking to reclaim VAT. This type of fapiao indicates that VAT has been accrued on a transaction and allows the purchaser to recover this tax through the formal tax channel. To be eligible to issue or receive special VAT fapiaos, companies must be registered in China and in compliance with local tax regulations receive these types of invoices. Failure to follow proper procedures or to issue valid special VAT fapiaos can result in legal penalties, loss of tax benefits, making it imperative to understand that obligations surrounding these documents is critical. Value-added tax is a significant component of the Chinese tax system. The standard VAT rate varies by sectors. If you are trading in goods, then it is usually around 13% or 9%. But so that's in the trade of goods. There are other rates as well, but really the two main ones are 13% and 9%. And if you are invoicing for services, then you are at 6%. The VAT system in China is designed to tax the value added at each stage of your supply chain of production and distribution. Businesses that are subject to VAT must maintain detailed records of their transactions to accurately calculate and report your VAT liability on a monthly basis. There is a VAT software system. It's called the Golden Tax System, which you are then subscribed to, and where you then input all of the VAT special fapiaos you've received and issued into that system to calculate your liabilities on a monthly basis. Understanding how to properly calculate VAT and the applicable rates is essential for effective financial management and compliance in the Chinese market. Now, the process of issuing and receiving fapiaos involves several steps. When issuing a fapiao, i.e. you are issuing an invoice to a customer, you're issuing a fapiao to a customer, a business must ensure that it is registered properly with the tax authorities, as only registered entities in China can issue valid fapiaos. After confirming the transaction details, the fapiao is generated, must be stamped with the company seal and the tax registration details. And for receiving fapiaos, businesses should verify that the document is legitimate, i.e. it's a real fapiao, and that includes all the necessary information, such as the correct VAT rate, transaction details, etc. There is a black market for fapiaos. That's why I say you got to check that your fapiaos that you're receiving are real and are authentic. You can again do this through the tax system. Actually, when you record it into the Golden Tax System, it will anyway pop up if it's something that's been on the black market or if it's not real, etc. Best practices include maintaining records of all issued and received fapiaos, reviewing them for accuracy, ensuring timely reporting to the tax authorities. Any discrepancies can lead to complications during tax reclamation as well. You got to keep in mind that we are now in the world of e-fapiao systems, so everything is electronically remitted. It's no longer paper issuance, physical paper issuance. However, your accounting team still needs to print out these e-fapiaos, keep it within your voucher books, and maintain all of the accounting records for a minimum of 5 years. Despite its importance, businesses often encounter issues with fapiaos. Common mistakes include incorrect information on the fapiao, such as the wrong company name, transaction amount, or VAT rate. And these errors can lead to complications in tax reclamation, as well as the annual compliance audits. Additionally, businesses may inadvertently issue a fapiao when not authorized by a customer, leading again to legal penalties or having to go to your tax bureau, cancel the fapiao, and going through that whole application process. Really, to troubleshoot these issues, it's vital to double check all transaction data before the fapiao is issued, maintain open communication with clients regarding their fapiao needs, implementing regular audits of fapiao documents that will ultimately then also help and identify and rectify any issues more promptly than waiting at the year end when the auditor might find these issues. Effective management of fapiaos is crucial to ensure compliance and streamline ultimately your financial operations. Investing in a fapiao management system can simplify the process of issuing, receiving, storing fapiaos. Again, you have the Golden Tax System that will do that for you, but you should also have a sound accounting system that integrates all of that. Best practices for fapiao management include creating a standardized procedure for handling the fapiao documents, training your staff on compliance requirements, regularly reviewing fapiao processes to adapt to any regulatory changes, and ultimately being proactive in the management of the fapiaos in order to minimize any errors or mistakes that are occurring. Again, we're all human, so even one character misspelling is feasible, right? What we do with a lot of our clients when we're issuing the first invoice is we send a screenshot of it, ask them to check all the details on there, and if there are any errors to let us know. And that includes in bank account information, company name information, address information, etc. The timely issuance and receipt of fapiaos can directly impact your business's cash flow. As I mentioned in the introduction, we are talking about a fapiao accounting system in China. Delays in receiving fapiaos from suppliers can impede your ability to reclaim VAT, affecting your cash reserves. Moreover, if customers delay payment until receiving the correct fapiao, your accounts receivables can stagnate. To improve cash flow, establish clear communications with your suppliers and clients regarding fapiao timelines, implement follow-up processes to ensure timely issuances and receipts, consider including fapiao terms in your contracts to clarify expectations from the outset. This leads on then to why establishing a business entity in China is pivotal. And there are a variety of reasons. Firstly, it provides legitimacy and ensures compliance with local laws, allowing you to be able to issue valid fapiaos. Secondly, registering a local entity offers access to tax incentives, including the ability to reclaim VAT, which again can greatly enhance your financial standing. Thirdly, a local presence improves your credibility among local clients and partners, which is crucial in China for building trust, long-term relationships, and these guanxi relationships. And lastly, a formalized entity allows for greater efficiency in financial operations. So creating a local bank account, managing transactions, navigating currency exchanges becomes significantly easier, which can save time and resources in your operations. But ultimately, you are taking control of all of these functions versus giving that to an intermediary party in China that's doing that work for you, and not having the transparency over what is actually going on. The challenges that exist. While companies that attempt to operate in China without a registered entity face numerous hurdles. Legal risks are significant. Issuing invoices without proper authorization can lead to legal investigations, hefty fines from the tax authorities. Secondly, as mentioned previously, companies that do not possess valid fapiaos cannot reclaim VAT or claim other tax benefits, which can severely inflate operational costs, eating into the profits. Keep in mind that if you're asking an intermediary to do this work for you, they're going to charge you a type of service fee for doing it, right? Many local firms may refuse to engage with an unregistered entity, right? You've got to imagine that they're going to get invoiced with a third party in China. They have no idea what the relationship is. It kind of does show a lack of commitment to the market, right, if you will. So it might limit your market access, as well as any potential partnership opportunities that exist. And ultimately, this unwillingness can stifle growth and hinder business success within China and potentially in the greater region. So without having that local presence where you are fully taking control, you're likely to thwart your expansion efforts. Now, how to effectively establish your business in China. Now, there are several key steps to follow. Start by conducting a thorough market research to understand local demand and competition. I assume that everybody has already done that, particularly if you are not ready to commit to the Chinese market and you're going to utilize third parties to do this type of invoicing for you. Choose the appropriate structure for what you're looking to do. How are you going to establish this business entity? Is it directly from your HQ? Will you have a holding company, etc.? Understand what your strategic objectives and goals are. Engage in local legal and financial advisors like Woodburn to navigate the regulatory landscape. Again, ensuring that we are creating a tax optimized structure. And finally, it's vital to establish robust standard operating procedures that encompass invoicing, payments, tax reporting to avoid any future complications. Best practices also include staying updated on regulatory changes, maintaining open lines of communication with government offices or even with local accountants, legal firms, etc. And obviously, you can't do all of this without having your partnerships on the ground, right? You need to have partners on the ground that help you to facilitate the establishment of these entities, and ultimately how you are going to operate. So understand that you need people on the ground to support you. Figure out who is going to be in that ecosystem that you generate. Make sure you're vetting the partners, that they're legitimate, they're real, and then understand how they can help you. Remember that there might be some partners today that are not of use to you, but could be of use to you down the line, particularly as you grow and as you scale. So today's conclusion: understanding the intricacies of fapiao and the VAT system is vital for any foreign company operating in China. The ability to issue, receive valid fapiaos not only ensures compliance with local regulations, but also serves as a mechanism for effective financial management and tax reclamation. Keep in mind, the key takeaway to all of this is that you are maintaining control and you have transparency over the actual business that is occurring on the ground. Knowledge is always power. Knowing the types of fapiaos that exist, maintaining accurate records, utilizing management systems to streamline processes will be vital. And this is all part of creating your standard operating procedures. Now, I encourage each of you to revisit the practices we've discussed today. Consider how you're going to implement them in your own business operations in China. A final point I want to highlight is many of you might say, oh, we're not ready to establish our own entity and make that type of commitment level. What would be a trigger for me to push me to actually do this? Well, when you're working with third parties and intermediaries, there's always going to be strengths and weaknesses that exist there. I think one of the weaknesses that I've seen with most of my clients is the lack of transparency and clarity. How can you grow a business in China if you've got this lack of transparency and clarity? How can you make decisions or pivot your business models, or pivot your call to actions without knowing what's happening on the ground? And this is why I say it's really key to have this on the ground ecosystem that can help facilitate this for you, and can help you to operate in a smoother way, but also help you to grow and scale in a faster way. So to finish off today's presentation, the big question is, how can Woodburn help you? Well, at Woodburn, we are dedicated to helping foreign companies establish a successful foothold in China. Our team is specialized in navigating the complexities of China's legal, financial, and operational frameworks. We've helped numerous clients successfully set up their business entities in China, as well as in Hong Kong, and streamline their operations to align with the local regulations. Whether you need assistance with the actual incorporation process, documentation, compliance, we're basically here to guide you throughout that entire process. So I invite you, if you want to reach out for a consultation, please do. Again, on the first slide was my QR code for connecting with me on WeChat. Alternatively, email me at christina@woodburnglobal.com. To finish today's presentation, I always want to finish on this quote. Remember that entering and operating in China can be a very rewarding journey with the right preparation and the right strategies. So to finish off, again, just to highlight, thank you for everyone that showed up live today. Thank you for those of you that are watching this on replay. We appreciate your time and interest in understanding how to successfully establish a business entity in China and navigate the complexities of domestic invoice. Basically, setting up an entity in China, one of the triggers will be whether you need to issue fapiaos or receive fapiaos yourself. Should you have, like I said, any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you once again And I wish you all a successful journey in your expansion efforts. Look forward to seeing you next week. Take care and goodbye.